Let me screen share right now.
All right, and then Plasmo.com STV, that wouldn't work, right?
That
It
should
goes
work.
quick.
We streaming to Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at the same time.
All right, cool.
All right. Okay. Actually, we live right now. Actually, never mind. It's starting right now. Okay, we live. We live.
All right, cool. Let me just go ahead and post this stuff on the various social medias.
Okay, let me. All right.
Hello. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Demo 13. I think this demo is really exciting because it's going to be one of the first where I think like the framework is going to take a back seat this time around, just because we've done a lot of really cool work in Itero, and really excited to show you guys what we've been up to. So specifically, Itero is this idea that we had, which was like, the framework, the Plasma framework, is all about developing. How do we make it as easy as possible to, from scratch? You have this idea and you want to build. You have this dream and you want to make it a reality. You have this like Chrome extension idea that you want to make, but then you don't want to have to deal with React. You don't want to have to figure out like, okay, how do I use the shadow DOM? All this stuff. Plasma framework takes care of that for you. Now the next iteration of that is like, how do you test stuff and how do you make sure that like what you're building is what your users want, and also that it's not buggy, that it's performant and stuff like that. And when you get to that stage, that's when Itero comes into play. So Itero, in a nutshell, is a platform that we built that make it as easy as possible to like be able to iterate as quickly as you can with Chrome extension development. And the first thing that we're building with Itero is this thing called testbed. So here, Lewis has an example of testbed and how it looks. So Lewis, you want to like dive into kind of what we're seeing here in this UI and how it all works?
Basically, the testbed we're seeing here is like the dashboard for a web extension developer, like similar to how Chrome or Mozilla Firefox have it, where you can upload a new extension. So when you upload an extension, you're uploading a zip file to Itero. For example, let me go to our Plasma. Let me just go to what example with content script UI build. We don't have any zip file there. Let me just zip it up.
And Plasma framework makes it super easy to zip it up, right? It's a little bit clipped. If you could, oh yeah, it should be fine.
I think it should be fine. Plasma, and go inside the what is it? Example with content script UI, and you can do what is it? PMP Plasma build zip. That's all you need to make the zip. Should take about what 3 seconds or 4 seconds, maybe longer. Hopefully not too long.
So right now that's bundling the extension and then
Yes.
zipping it, right?
Yeah, 16 seconds for that. All right, we got the zip file. Let's open it. So now, the moment you choose the file, it actually will extracting all of the metadata of that extension and ready to upload. And we can just go ahead and upload it. So now we have the with context strip UI kind of extension here ready to be kind of managed. You can actually generate a submit key. The submit key is actually part of our premium offering where you can actually submitting the extension from your CLI. The icon it should work, but right now I think because the caching is not working, we're using Next.js middleware, so it actually relying on a caching layer to serve the icon. So I think right now the icon is not available immediately yet, but I think if we refresh the page, hopefully the icon will be there for us to see.
I see.
Yeah.
Does it have to do with Next.js 12.2?
It's mainly largely how we dealing with caching and stuff like that. With the because middleware actually run on Edge. All our kind of actually we use an Edge runtime to serve this image. It's like a proxy to our storage host. So basically we offloading all of that kind of computation to
Right.
the Edge runtime and also the storage host. So we don't get any of that ingress and shit. That I mean so no fee right on us, but we want to reduce as much as possible on ourselves. So but now you can now actually imagine I have two extensions I can manage and I can work with, and so here is you can upload a new version of the same extension and bumping the version. You can actually open the installation page of the extension. This should point you to the installation page.
You want to run through like kind of what testbed is and like what all these things like sort of
All right.
how they work together?
The idea with testbed is that when developer trying to test their extension with like beta tester, alpha tester even, or even with their team, right, internal team, right? They still have to. So there are two solutions. The first one is the manual uploading. Okay, actually there are three solutions. Plasmo is the last one, and the one that we are proposing. The first solution that most people are doing is the manual building. They manually build and zip their extension and put it up on GitHub or some hosting page, and asking their team to go downloading the zip and then load the extension as if you go to Chrome, right? The idea is very similar to how you would load an extension as a developer. You load it as like load unpack extension, right? You load the zip as an unpack extension. Imagine doing this for 100 internal user or 100 beta tester, right? The amount of time wasted is huge.
And not only that, right? The other thing also that we've heard is like actually doing updates is also really annoying, right? Because it's not like they only have to do that once. Like if they only have to do that once, like okay, that's kind of annoying, but like whatever, they only have to do it once. We give them like a little tutorial. But every single time you want to update your Chrome extension to give it to your new users, now you have to tell them to drag and drop again, which is like, and then some people don't, and then now you have drift, and it's like there's a bug. Oh, it was in an old version. We already fixed that, and you'll have all these like other issues, right? So
precisely, yeah. I mean, the base idea is they have to download, they have to load, unzip. They actually have to I think they have to unzip it too, right? So a lot of action happening per person. I mean, if your extension is like, it probably take roughly 10 seconds for each of those. But imagine, so 10 seconds for 100 beta testers, about 100, 10 seconds per 100 is like
1,000 seconds, right?
1,000 seconds.
On top of that, like you have to do it on every update, which is like the killer.
That's a lot of time being wasted there. Now, the second way to do so is you can actually publishing to the Chrome Web Store as an unlist extension. Now, a lot of people actually have a problem with how slow the Chrome extension team reviewing their extension, even though it's unpublished, they still review it, which is a little bit obnoxious. But I guess that's kind of one of their protocol. But so imagine it will take you about 2 days to 3 days, or even a week even, to actually get a new version, a better version of your extension as an unlist extension, right? Just for the team to test. So sure. So now you solve the CI problem of, hey, I can now automatically publishing my extension, right, using my CI pipeline, the same CI pipeline that you publish to Chrome, but you still have the problem of having to wait for the reviewer. You're basically begging for the mercy of the reviewer to wait for them to reviewing and approve your extension to be on the unlist store. Um, and even if you distribute it to a group of users, even you still have to go through reviewing. Um, yeah, so that's one of the annoying part where a lot of extension developer who are who have like a very lean team and they want to iterate fast, right? The key idea here is that if you have to wait for 3 days for an updating to test, that's a lot of time, opportunity cost. And so what Itero is, the third solution. Itero is a web store made for developer, made for fast, lean, and iterative developer who want to quickly iterating, receiving feedback, improving the extension fast, quick. So Itero is a web store that has no review process, but and also have CI pipeline. So what basically the idea is you can now publishing your extension into Itero, and what Itero does is actually facilitating the installation of the extension using kind of using a binary. Is so we leveraging a technique similar to how MDM does this, mobile device management solution does, which enable certain extension and certain web store for your Chrome extension. So is the exact same technique that if your company using an MDM solution, like what is it, Jamstack, something like that. It's the exact same kind of technique that they're using, but we're using this for Itero so that we can actually integrating Itero and the extension for your beta tester, so that now a beta tester would basically grab this kind of binary for your extension, by the way. So each binary is tied to a certain extension. It will enable the extension for their browser, and now they can actually access the extension and test it on their own. And the cool thing is they only have to do it once. The whole running the binary is one-time operation. They run it once, the MDM kind of policy is set, and that's it. Now the next time that you actually push a new update to Itero store, it will use the exact same update method, the update mechanism that the Chrome Web Store does, and also Chrome does with extension, to receiving updating from the for the Chrome extension. Yeah. So with that, the idea is very simple. You basically downloading the Windows installer or the Mac OS X installer for your user platform, right? So Windows for your Windows user, Mac OS for your Mac OS user. We will releasing your support for Linux very soon. We just kind of lazy setting up a Docker to testing out the Linux binary, but we will get it soon. But the idea
Linux
is you
desktop, year of Linux desktop is 2022. So
I know, right? I mean, I used to. I'm just a bit lazy. That's the idea.
yeah.
But we will get it. We'll get it done. But the idea is you get the Windows installer for this extension. You run it. Should we demo that? Okay, let's do it. Okay, I'm on Windows, so I'll just get that. I'll download the Plasmo Pro kind of installer for this extension. So let's save it here, and then. So the idea is I would run this on my machine. And what it does, it will actually apply the MDM. It will apply in the MDM rules.
Right.
Or I have to basically allow it to run. Is it running?
Cool. Is it on another monitor?
It is right now. Oh, it is right now. Okay, it's asking me for kind of permission now.
Okay.
Yeah, taking a bit. Yes. All right.
What's going on there?
Huh, interesting. Got a bug.
Object is not a function. Undefined is not a function.
Update.
Okay, so I think like we can like debug this, but maybe
Let's do it.
so you already ran this, right? And you have like the MDM stuff set up with mice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can demo that. So maybe maybe uninstall mice and then reinstall it with the installation page.
Sure, let's do that.
So the idea is like Lewis right now has this already set up. Like I think like there might have been like a regression. So like you guys can see like mice there. So if you do update, click on update, Lewis. So you can see 0.0.7, and I think that's going to turn to 0.0.8, right?
No, not. I'm testing out a new. I'm testing out a new kind of updating mechanism. I'm just updating the metadata. It's actually not updating the actual binary yet.
Okay. So, but basically the idea behind testbed is we think about it similar to like TestFlight in iOS.
Mm-hmm.
So people install the extension via the installation page. You want to show that real quick, Lewis?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. So basically, once they have that binary, and once they ran it on their computer, now they can go to this page. So you can link your users to this page, and then when they click install extension, it won't work for you right now, Lewis, because you don't have this extension unlocked. But if I think with mice, it should work right on your Chrome instance.
Yeah.
And then when they click that, it basically does what the Chrome Web Store does, or like what the Firefox Store does, where it'll basically install it just like, and like the flow you guys will see, it looks just like the flow for the Chrome Web Store.
By the way, the user doesn't even have to share the URL, because by running the binary will set the policy and will open this URL for them.
Right.
So it's the same flow. It's a single flow. There's no need to open
That's right.
There's no need to share this. But you can see they actually have this whole dialog extension. And so, for example, if I were to actually open this page with ContentScript UI, right? If I were to try to install this extension, though, you will actually see a very separate response from Google, from your browser. Now let's try to install this ContentScript UI. Right now I have mice. It's saying that not from Chrome Web Store, but it actually is enabled. It is enabled with the toggle, right? If I try to install the extension, the policy.
Maybe the policy was actually set, right?
Oh no!
Oh no! There it is. Yeah.
The extension is not listed, and because the policy is it's not unlocked, it is disabled.
So yeah, like if you guys want to get a little bit nerdy, there's two ways the Chrome says this. One of them is this way that Lewis just showed, where there's a warning here. And the other one is the CRX required proof missing. So we have a whole blog post diving deep into that, if you guys are curious. But yeah, so that's what would happen. But because because Lewis ran Itero on mice, it just works. And now whenever you push an update, right, it'll automatically get updated via the Chrome browser mechanism. So you don't have to do any like hacks or anything to update. It's just like if you were to add a new version on the Chrome Web Store. It's the same idea.
Precisely. And we're also working on automating the process of updating. So you can get an access token, the submit key, and using the submit key with the binary you just install, you use download, you can use that to actually submitting a new zip every time you are trying to publishing a new version of your extension. So everything can be integrated into CI pipeline. We're also planning to actually integrating this into our BBP solution as well in the long run. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's this? Some random window just popped up. Yeah. No, totally. And so we already have support for submitting programmatically to Opera. I don't know why I chose Opera to be the first process.
Actually, Opera's got tricky. Our Opera support is actually not that good, to be honest, due to the way Opera handling cookie. They actually expire their cookie very fast, and they don't actually giving you the refresh token for their cookie. So I wouldn't recommend.
But like, so the idea is eventually, like, we'll have this programmatic access, and then we can actually put it into like something like BPP, and then you can even do like every push to main updates your test bed. So then all of your beta testers, so that could be like investors, if you have a company with investors and they want to get like the bleeding edge, maybe it's like your team, your developers, maybe even people that are kind of doing testing, anyone that you want to have as testers, they would automatically get the bleeding edge, like the latest thing on main, they would get it right away. So that's something that we're also planning on working on.
Yep.
Cool. That's awesome. Awesome. So yeah, if you're interested in this stuff and you're like tuning in, give us a shout. Like, I think right now we're at a point where it's like pretty stable. Like, I think like what Lewis was showing, that was like a little bit buggy. That's like the like bleeding edge, like not pushed yet version. So the production ready version is like quite stable, and like I think like we're comfortable with like rolling it out to people. I like we have a couple people using it at the moment. So hit us up if you're interested and you think that would be helpful to your team. Probably best place to reach us out is x@plasma.com, right?
Support. I would say support.
Support, yeah. One of those works. But yeah, sounds good. And then, okay, that sounds good. Anything else on your end, Lewis, that you wanted to share?
I think that's pretty much for now. What do you have?
Awesome.
We want to walk through the changelog for Plasma framework. We actually have some bug fixes that we had that we did last week for the Plasma framework.
Yeah. So let me share Itero, one more Itero thing, and then we'll go to the framework if you want.
All right.
All right. Cool. So this is something that you see that it says automatic browser extension web store button. All right, cool. Yeah, so it's completely frozen for me, so I don't see any changes, but it's okay as long as you see it. So we made this a while ago, like April 20th. So it's been a minute, and that's when we weren't live streaming back then, so we never really talked about this. But one of the things that we noticed was like a lot of Chrome extension developers that kind of had that supported multiple web stores, they had to code their own kind of download button. So it would be sort of like one of these, like get on Chrome Web Store, and then if you're on Firefox, it would show like get on the Firefox add-on store and stuff like that. So let me show you a quick demo of how that would work on Firefox. So let me open this blog up on Firefox. So if we go here, so
nice.
Right here, we're on Firefox, and then the window behind is, so Brave uses the Chrome Web Store, so that's why it has the Chrome Web Store link here. If you open this up, let me open it up in Safari. Here's Safari. Let me go to here. You can see get on
Nice,
Safari Web Store. So all of these have this image, and when you click, so I'm just gonna, like, you guys saw that it works for all the browsers, so let's just focus on like quote unquote Chrome for the moment. When you actually click it, it takes you to the Chrome Web Store, and then here it's pointing to MetaMask. This is like an example using like MetaMask as the example. And just to show you guys real quick what this looks like. So if we inspect this thing, you'll notice that there is absolutely no JavaScript involved. So the way it works is all you got to do is you got to have like an anchor tag and then an image inside. So you're basically creating like a little button. And for the href, what you're specifying here is you're pointing to Itero, you're pointing to our API route, Xstore, link. And here what we say is, hey, Xstore, create a link for us. If the person is on, let me expand this real quick. Yeah. So what we're saying here is, if the user that's viewing this is on Chrome, when they click this link, take them to this URL. If they're on Firefox, if they're using Firefox, take them to this link, and so on and so forth. So the idea is you're specifying, because all of these different web stores, like, yeah, sure, they have the same like sort of they have the same prefix, but then like your extension will have different things. So you're basically specifying like where you want to take them if they're on Opera and so on and so forth. And then finally, for the image, is much simpler. You point the image to Xstore image, and what we will do under the hood is we will basically figure out what user agent is requesting this image, and then we will serve them a different image dynamically. So if they're on Firefox, you guys saw, you would show like the Firefox logo, Chrome, it would show the Chrome logo, and so on. And this is all powered by the Vercel Edge runtime, so it's super fast. Everything is on the edge, and so it's like super quick, and it shouldn't impact performance at all. And it's just 2 lines, no JavaScript involved at all. So that's kind of the reason why we're showing this, is because this was actually broken. So someone mentioned it was broken. The reason it got broken is because Next.js had this like gigantic release 12.2, and that changed some stuff up in the Edge runtime, so it broke. But yeah, that's basically that.
Potentially, we can actually make a very simple page to generating the Xstore link for people.
Yeah.
Like even generating the anchor tag, right? So like they provide the tag. It's like for input form. They put their kind of input there, and we generate the link for them, the code for them, if they want.
Exactly, and we can even clean this up a little bit more by like Chrome URL will always have this as the prefix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Firefox URL will always have this as the prefix. Maybe we can specify like internationalization, like, but yeah, we can think about that. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So we would just have like a little UI, and then you put in your like different links, and then it'll generate the thing for you. Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. Yeah, so that's kind of it on my end. Yeah, maybe if we dig deep into some of the changes we made to the framework now that we kind of wrapped up the Itero stuff.
Mm-hmm. Go back to the let me should. All right, so we are now at 0.48.4. We released
we're halfway there.
Yeah, we released a couple of minor version. There's actually an installing error recently happening with basically Plasma relying on a couple dependencies, and I think we are working on a lot of the we're working on this forking a lot of them. We are forking a lot of them and just upgrading their dev dependencies. Yeah, because there's a lot of package out there that actually either deprecated, incorporate into the standard library, or are just unmaintained, not maintained anymore, and And I think a lot of the warning and also a lot of the error that's being triggered, and also a lot of the dependency issue could be a drag. So we are forking some of the dependencies and just scratch them all, solve the problem, right? So that's occurring in here. We also fix a little bit of the content script overriding for people who are overriding. So basically, previously, if we have the content script field in the manifest override, it actually will actually override every single thing in your content script, including the content script that was generated, and that's definitely not the behavior that user wanted. So this would properly merge them. We also have a new feature, it's a minor feature, that allow you to actually providing smaller icons. So some users actually are very keen on how they want the icon to be. So for example, icon 16, 45, 48, and 128, right? People want to provide their own kind of icon. So now you can just apply those icons in the asset folder, and we will just grab them and bring them over. Yeah. So no more. So that's one way to solve the problem of auto-generated icon for some people who don't like the way we are generating these assets at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty then. By the way, is our sponsor page ready yet? Been waiting for GitHub to sponsor. I've been waiting
for GitHub to approve it, right?
Yeah, let's see. I'm actually curious if it is, huh?
Nice, awesome.
No, it is not. I don't think so.
No.
When we click it, it doesn't actually bring us to the sponsor at all. Is it? Yeah, it doesn't.
Not sure. Yeah. The other thing that's kind of exciting is look at the stars, Louis. We're almost at 4K, which is amazing. Yeah. I'm really thankful for that, and I'm really happy by the community for all the support. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Thank you. We also revamped the documentation a little bit, I think, last week. Added a couple of the content script. I think nothing substantial here. Anything news come to mind? Or are we done?
I think so just like forward-looking stuff. One of the pieces of feedback, and by the way, if you guys have feedback on literally anything on Plasmo, like documentation, like whatever it is, please feel free to post on our Discord. We'd love feedback and love improving. So speaking about that, one of the pieces of feedback that I got from a friend of mine who was building with Plasmo, he mentioned that it's tricky to figure out how to create a service worker. So if you look at our documentation, like one of the things that you'll notice is on the left, like with the table of contents, we don't have service worker as a top level sort of like thing. So we have like content scripts, we have like remote code and stuff like that, but there's nothing about service worker. So we do have a section on service worker, but it's like you go to development cycle and then you find like the section for service worker, but it's not like a top level thing like content script. So he had a hard time figuring out that we even support background service workers. So one of the things that I think we're going to do a little bit is refactor documentation, maybe to incorporate service worker as a more top level kind of thing. But yeah, like basically any sort of feedback, would love to get it, and like that helps us improve. So we really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think that's pretty much it for this for the stream.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are here every Friday evening in UK time, and what would you say, like afternoon in East Coast time, right, Louis?
Yeah. Afternoon. I think around 5 p.m. I think we try to be at 5 p.m., but it's always we take longer to prepare, so it's usually 6:30 p.m. actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started at 6:30 p.m. today.
Oh, and the other thing I wanted to share as well is unrelated to Plasma. So I went to this gaming like market. Last time I showed my figure, my Goku figure. This time I'm gonna show. I got these stickers. It's a Dragon Ball Z stickers. So it's like from the '90s. It's a this is a Dragon Ball sticker actually, not even Dragon Ball Z. So they have
Yeah.
like different things. I'm really excited. So potentially you'll see a Toriyama sponsorship. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, just wanted to show that out as well. Cool. Also, the other thing, by the way, is like to the people watching, if you're a Chrome extension developer and like you want to do like a jam session, something we've been thinking about is putting sort of like a office hour type of thing weekly and then live streaming it. So that's if you're interested in that, also reach out to us on the Discord and we can talk more about that. But likely
I
we'll do
wonder.
it in the middle of the
I wonder if we should do the co-working thing in our server actually, make it more active.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Just to kind of like, yeah, we can have like certain office hours, like maybe like 1 hour a day or something, and we're just chilling in the room, and then whoever hops in, we can give them some help or something. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. Well, anyways, see you guys next week, and thanks for tuning in.